Hey guys, so I'm pretty excited about doing this. This is a series that was created by Annette's Makeup Corner. You've heard me talk about her before. She's got so many great ideas for videos that are so much fun to watch. And I saw her doing this and I said, boy, that looks like fun. I am going to modify the format a little bit though. So let me tell you a little bit about it. What this is um, you look for items in your makeup collection that are a specific letter. And in this case, the way I'm going to be doing it is I'm only going to be using this for eyeshadows. She incorporates a blush and a lipstick too, looking for a specific letter, but I don't have a lot of blushes and I don't have nearly the amount of lipsticks that I used to have, and I don't want to go out and buy things just because they start with a certain letter. So I'm just going to use this for my eyeshadows. So what I did was I went through my collection and I looked for eyeshadows that have a name that starts with the letter A. Not the brand name, but the name of the eyeshadow itself. And what I noticed as I was pulling things out was that I have a palette, my most recent purchase palette that I hadn't even shown you yet, and it has 4 eyeshadows in it that start with the letter A. So I thought, okay, perfect. Let's combine the format of Makeup Through the Alphabet with showing you my most recent eyeshadow purchase, and we'll just, combine those two themes together to do this video. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about the Melt Cosmetics Vida palette. Now you saw me talk about the Muerte palette in my last video. I think that was my last video. And I did go to Sephora and pick up the Vida palette as well because this is so beautiful that I just couldn't resist. So I'm going to do a little tutorial using the 4 eyeshadows in this palette that start with the letter A. I'm going to put a link in the description box to Annette's channel. I know I just talked about her recently on my channel, but not everybody watches every single video, so you may not have seen that video. And so I'll put a link to her channel in the description box, and yeah, that's really all there is to it. So let's get started with the tutorial portion of this. Alright, let's get started then. So this is the Melt Cosmetics Vida palette, and I went to a Sephora in the closest big city to me to get this, because of course you can't buy this at Sephora inside JCPenney. So there are 4 shadows, or pressed pigments actually. Yeah, these are pressed pigments. And does it say it on here? I think it was on the Sephora website that said this was a pressed pigment palette. In my opinion, both palettes are pressed pigments. Even though if you go to the Sephora website, it will label the Muerte palette as an eyeshadow palette and this as a pressed pigment palette. In my opinion, they're both pressed pigment palettes, because when I used the Muerte palette and I used it 3 days in a row doing 3 completely different kinds of looks, I think I posted them all on my social media. The shadows that I used, or the pigments that I use, I got staining. So you don't get that with regular eyeshadows. You only get that with pressed pigments. So if you are somebody that doesn't buy pressed pigment palettes, that's a mouthful, then you might want to take a pass on this. To me, it's worth it because I think these palettes are just stunning. So this is what Vida looks like. And yeah, there are four shades in here that start with the letter A. There is Amor Eternal, which is this bright yellow. There is Agua Ardiente, which is this brown. And by the way, hopefully I'm pronouncing these okay. I don't speak Spanish, so I'm just guessing. This is Atoll or Atolle, so it's a lighter brown. And then Alegria, isn't that the name of a drug? Alegria? Isn't that like an asthma medication or something? Oh no, that's Allegra. Okay, so this is Alegria, and this is a shimmery orange. So the two browns and the yellow are matte, and then this has got shimmer or like a finely milled glitter in it. So those are the shades that we're going to use, and I thought, you know what? Those coordinate really well together. I do have other eyeshadows that begin with A, but I thought we would incorporate this into the beginning of this alphabet series. Okay, so I used my concealer underneath my eyes, and then I put it all over my eyes. Now, I had been using the NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in Milk when I was using the Muerte palette, but I wanted to try using concealer today as an eyeshadow base. Hopefully it will work out okay. These shadows, or these pigments, however you want to say it, have a very dry formula to them. So you don't want to use anything drying, that's for sure. So this concealer is not a drying concealer. So I thought this might work well as an eyeshadow palette. So hopefully it will. Okay, so I'm going to start off by using, let's use this brush. This is a MAC 224 brush. And I'm going to go into the Atolle, which is the light brown. And I'm going to very carefully put some of this on my brush because it's, like I said, these are super pigmented. So I'm just going to put some of that in the crease. That looks like a perfect crease shade to me. I love the tone and the depth of color of that. I can see that being a big favorite as a crease shade. I have a feeling I'm going to be pulling that, or pulling that from this palette, not depotting it, but just reaching for it is what I'm trying to say. Even when I'm using eyeshadows by other brands, I have a feeling that I'm going to be reaching for this shade. Okay, so I'm just slowly building this up because I don't want to get carried away here. Yeah, that is a beautiful shade. Okay, now I'm going to just put a tiny bit on the outside of my lids, bring it down from the corner and brush it across the edge. Just for a little bit of depth and dimension. Okay, this one. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this MAC shader brush, and I don't remember the number, and it has worn off. You know, I've had this brush for so many years, and it works just as well as the day I bought it. So MAC brushes are super expensive, but they're kind of worth the investment. Well, some of them are. Some of them are. This one I definitely would recommend. I want to say 237 is what is popping into my mind. All right, so we're going into a more eternal, which is that really bright yellow. And I'm going to put that on the inner part of my lid. Boy, yellow was the eyeshadow color for 2019, wasn't it? It was in so many palettes. And it was released as a single by a lot of companies. Yeah, yellow was the color this year, I think. The trendiest color. I wonder what the popular color is going to be next year. Wow. That is really bright. Yeah, I knew it was going to be. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just flip this brush over and I'm going to go into Allegria, which is this beautiful shimmery orange. I'm going to put that on the outer part of my lids. Yeah, using my concealer ended up working great as an eyeshadow base. However, keep in mind what the formula is. I mean, you probably know if your concealer is a drying or moisturizing concealer. So don't use anything that's drying, like the original formula of Urban Decay Primer Potion. Don't use anything like that. Or any concealer that is drying. Now this is going to end up being like a candy corn eyeshadow look. Yeah, I kind of thought about these four shadows and how I thought they would look good together. And this is what I came up with. These shadows, or pigments, they build beautifully. So you can make them as intense as you would like them to be, or not, as the case may be. I'm getting some fallout, and I've already done my face makeup, so that could be a problem. Okay, so now I'm just, like, I don't want it to be any brighter, but I want it to be even on both sides. Okay, now I'm gonna take a clean blending brush. Actually, yeah, let's take this. This is a Real Techniques brush, and I'm just gonna blend a little bit between the two shades, just so they won't be quite so like stark orange yellow. Okay, there we go. All right. Wonder if I'll be able to get any of this fallout off. Let me see if I can get rid of that now before we continue. I also adjusted the lighting a little bit because it was too bright. Yeah, I tried my best to get that fallout off, but it's pressed pigment, so by trying to sweep it away, it kind of ground it into the skin a little bit. I took a little bit of translucent setting powder and tried to, you know, fade it out a bit, but you can see that there's some orange blended into my skin now. So word to the wise, if you work with this palette or even the other one too, the Muerte, do your eyes first, and then you can clean up and do your face makeup second, because I can't start over. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use this. I picked some of these up the other day. This is one of the LA Girl Shockwave Neon Eyeliners. I wanted to get some pencil eyeliners in like bright, shocking colors. And this one is in the shade Screamin, which is the bright yellow. And I'm going to put this on my waterline. I know ColourPop makes some fun, bright pencil liners, but I don't care for the formula. I feel like it's too dry, and they're retractable liners, so they get even drier over time. And these are the kind that you sharpen. So I picked up a few shades of these, but I think I want to get more. And then I'm going to try to get back to the store and get some more soon and do a video about these, because I'm very impressed with the formula. And I have access to LA Girl now at like 3 stores in my area, so they're easy enough to find. Okay, next I'm going to take a small Jojoba pencil brush, and I'm going to go into Agua Ardiente, and I'm going to put some of that right along the lower lash line. So we've got the yellow on the waterline, and this beautiful chocolate brown, I would say, underneath. Just going to take a tiny bit more. Okay, now I'm going to take, let's see, I'm going to take this Morphe M506 brush, and I'm going to go into that same shade. And I'm just going to put a little bit in the outer corner of this look. Just a little bit. I don't really want it to overwhelm the other colors, but I do want it to be just a bit darker on the outside edge. I want to bring it down. This edge right here has a tendency to miss getting shadow for some reason. So I want to make sure that I fill in that gap. Now this side doesn't seem to have that problem. So it's just over here on this side. All right, I'm gonna curl my lashes and put on mascara, fix my hair, and be back so you can see the final look. And this is the finished look with mascara and with my hair down and styled. So I hope you like this. Yeah, I want to do one of these every once in a while. It's not going to be like an everyday thing, but I think it's a lot of fun, and I think it's feasible for me to do it using my eyeshadows, because eyeshadows are my thing. So let me know if you like this. Give it a thumbs up if you did, and be get subscribed if you're not, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.